Okay, I hope my stream is working. Okay, I hope my stream is working. Okay, I can hear myself, I just listened to the stream. Alright, so hello everyone. Today on the International Kriegsspiel, me, Otovsky, one of the umpires in the IKS, I'm hosting a WW2 game. It's set on the Eastern Front, and it's going to be the Germans fighting the Soviets. The Soviets have been ordered to defend the railway line in the north. They're specifically supposed to act in this area. It's sort of their area of operations. And the Germans are going to be trying to punch through with tanks and artillery and infantry. The Soviets, meanwhile, don't really have as many resources in their inventory. They mostly have just infantry and 2 mortar platoons, so not that much at all. This is a bit ad hoc. I haven't really announced that there's going to be a stream or anything, but on my left monitor I'm going to be following the stream chat every once in a while. I see you, Emmanuel Davali, hello. I saw that actually you, I think, yeah, Davali is, I think he's actually hosting his own World War II game right now in play-by-post, so that is very cool. But now I need to go back to umpiring because I'm hosting this game with Rankan over here. So that was the short introduction. I think I'm gonna actually let you show how the umpiring stuff works, and you're going to be able to see my Discord screen. Alright, the stream has started. So
did you want me to do blue as well? The channel stuff?
Yeah, that would be cool.
Alright. And I asked them what you gave them, or do you know what you gave?
Yeah, they haven't really been given anything. I asked KB if he could do that, but I don't think he has had any time since he's like briefing players, so you can do it for them. Give the panzers to Muffin. So KB.
Okay, I just need to ask, sorry, this symbol, what is this? This is a battalion, right? Am I wrong?
It's the battalion headquarters.
Headquarters, but sorry, these groups of dudes is a battalion, right? Or
yeah, everyone here, the infantry is part of the battalion, and
okay,
this is a company.
Okay, company.
And
okay.
Individual block is a platoon.
Platoon. Okay, thank you.
Yep. Yeah. All right, but yeah.
I'll do that. Wait, okay. So who's the battalion commander for the Germans again?
KB, the guy. KB, and thanks to Muffin.
Okay.
Yes, this is gonna be me, and this is UE, and then this is gonna be you, Sheephead. For now, you're both gonna have control over your own mortars. If I'm there, I might order them around, but yeah. So,
would there be an advantage to putting the mortars so that they couldn't get disrupted by the trees, or would that just expose us?
I honestly don't know. I just put them down randomly. You can have them here too.
The mortars do need a small clearing.
Yeah, okay. I will put them like so. Is this fine? Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show the mines because it's kind of hard to see. We want 80 mines like, along this road here.
The 80 mines, by the way, they're the ones without. The 80 mines are purely black, and the AP mines, the anti-infantry ones, have circle.
I'll switch them around. So this is 80. There you go. So we want HE, so anti-infantry mines in these 2 locations, and we want anti-tank mines in these 2 locations.
Alright, gotcha.
And then this is 1st Rifle Company with me. This is Sheep with the machine gunners. and then this is E. And they've all been assigned their own individual mortar.
I see, I see. By the way, I'm gonna tell real quick that in this system it matters quite a lot where the commander is located, as you all have it. There's a lot of like informative stuff in the
Can you say it again? I didn't hear.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot of informative stuff in the player guide document and the Soviet handbook, but there's no way you guys are going to have time to read all of that in the beginning phase at least. So basically.
And one more thing.
Yeah.
It's going to be given as a directive before the battle that my first rifle company is a forward position and is going to engage in light skirmishing, so essentially get the Germans to start deploying and then withdraw back towards the north. So this is all pre-arranged.
Alright, sounds good then. But yeah, as what I was saying, in the player document there's thing, I'm not sure what it's called. I think there's this point called leading from the front versus leading from the rear. And basically the key thing is that it matters quite a lot where the commander are located, so orders might take a while to receive if you are sending orders by runner, and also if you're personally near a unit you can
I'm personally here in the front.
Alright, you can make
Yeah,
platoons
I would like a deployment something like this.
Alright, I got you.
Moving that mine in the forest up, so the Germans, walk.
Okay, I'm gonna take a picture for the Germans about where they are enemy positions. Hello Germans, your scouts have now returned with some information about enemy positions. Basically, there seems to be a concentration of enemy troops in the village of Kaiserdoros. They have spotted several, maybe a company's worth of Soviet troops inside the village itself, moving around. And shuffling troops in the nearby countryside. Your scouts have also spotted enemy scouts in the forest north and west of VNK Bankaushiske and Priekiem. There was some enemy resistance there in that forest, which made further scouting difficult. So it seems like there's some sort of there's at least an enemy picket line in that forest. So maybe a company in Kaiserdoros and more troops in the forest in the southwest, restricting scouting. Have you guys thought of all your plan yet, or do you want to still plan a bit more?
I think
I think the plan functions as it is.
I think we haven't taken consideration the. So we can't go left and right of what you sent us as our area, right?
Yeah, you can't
No,
leave your
we-
area of operations.
Yeah, then I think we'll have to adjust a few
Yeah,
small
I'll give
things.
you guys can have some more time to prepare. You only now got the scout report, so you'll have at least 3 minutes of like planning.
What are these field guns we have?
Field guns.
Batteries?
The battery is from your organic infantry division. So sorry, it's your infantry division's organic artillery. So they are in the rear, with light field howitzers firing 105mm shells. So they're off map, and the
Okay.
battalion commander, only the battalion commander can call in support from them.
Okay.
Right.
Okay, the Germans are right now planning. Also, I'm gonna talk to the stream sometimes, so it might be weird, but Emmanuel Davalli just said after the current one ends, I will do another using your system. Alright, so very cool that you're gonna use my World War II system. As I understood, I think Davalli, your current World War II game, I think it's not I think it's a bit bigger scale than this system. I think there you control individual companies instead of platoons, or move platoons around. So I mean, what I mean is that the company is the smallest block. So it's going to be, maybe you can give some nice perspective about what it's like. Also, Renkan, there are mines on the map. They're in. I'm gonna mark them so you can see here, 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 here.
Okay.
And this is a AT. If it's that black one, it's AT. So there's AT mines there. And if it's a, these are anti-personnel mines.
Yeah, got it.
So the and we're gonna probably have to remove them from the map. But how the mines work is basically, if a unit walks into a mine, they will automatically get a 1 hit, and they will get a disruption as well. And then they're gonna take like 45 minutes to 30 minutes clearing the minefield until they can move using that path. So you got that?
Yep.
Nice. I'm gonna put like small dots to mark the mines. I need to try to not show them in the umpire screenshots though. Also, I think you're gonna umpire the Germans.
Bam. Okay.
Yeah. So you got 4 players. And I got the Soviets. What do you need to... So the Germans have tanks. And...
Yeah, what tanks do they have and how do they work?
They have Panzer IIs. These are Panzer IIs, these... Where did the German tanks go? Oh, they're here. These are Panzer IIs. And the commander's tank is a Panzer... I think it was a Panzer IV with the short barrel. So it's early war Panzer IV. And the tanks move pretty fast. I need to check how fast they actually move. They can basically teleport around the map. Yeah, they can go... Let's say that they can go like 3.75 kilometers in 1 turn. there's also more specific, like if they're not off-road, they can go faster. But I think there's going to be times when the tanks just aren't going to move because there's just that much stuff here. And also the tanks themselves, they are absolutely like blind. So you need to make sure that the tank player gets like super small screenshots.
Got it.
So they require infantry to be their eyes, or they won't be able to do anything. And their tanks roll artillery dice, so light tanks roll light artillery, and medium tanks roll medium artillery dice. And this is the oh wait.
So is the command tank medium?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
it is. And this is what the Soviets are gonna have, and this is light, and this is infantry light anti-tank die. So this is really this die. They can only roll this when they are super close to the enemy, by like 200 meters or something, and also it's like it barely does any damage, so they're pretty screwed, to be honest. So yeah.
By the way, did you see that? I forgot who someone asked. Change something. Yeah, I think it's a German guy.
Yeah. Okay. He asked what are the rangers of tanks.
So they're defensive positions.
Okay, what are the names of our companies, Otto?
The names of
Is it just first, second, third?
Yeah, it is. You have the you're all from the 1st battalion, so you're the 1st battalion headquarters. Then you have 1st rifle company, 2nd rifle company, and 3rd rifle company, and you're supported by the 1st panzer company.
Okay. So starting from left to right, will this count upwards? So
yeah,
first company, yeah.
Yeah, and also the range of tanks is you can the tanks can at max shoot like. Okay, wait, I need to actually look at the guide document for a second. It's in the player guide document, I need to remind myself. The firing range of a tank gun, so basically the Panzer Force, which is the command tanks platoon, it's 2 kilometers at absolute max. And then the machine gun tanks, which are basically the Panzer IIs. Well, they have like an autocannon or something, I think. But basically, they can only fire around 0.8 kilometers away at max. So, a few hundred meters under 1 kilometer is the absolute maximum range. And... yeah, are you guys ready? Do you have any other questions?
Yeah, we just need to assign commands.
Alright, I see you guys are very good there. You have your tanks pretty close to the infantry, because I tell you, since you haven't probably have time to read the document or anything, tanks are pretty blind without infantry, so they need infantry support.
Commander, if I may, this will...
Alright, so it's the Germans are almost ready to go, so do you have any special orders for your troops or anything like that?
I do. The ones previously mentioned, and a general order is also to make every single unit painfully aware of where the minefields are, so they don't accidentally run into it or something.
Nice. Alright, anyone else got any orders for the units about when to engage the enemy or anything like that?
I would like to. I would like to order the troops on my far right. I believe the ones covering the minefield in the forest. To send out lots of pickets so that if the Germans try and come through those woods, and if they try and come through those woods, they won't be able to sneak up on us.
Alright.
We also to have pickets in the woods in front of the town, in front of the city. Just scouts in those woods.
Understood. Sounds good.
Right. I think we're ready, right?
Which company? My first or second company?
Yeah.
I'll just do it from like what channel you're in. So
Yep.
let me just write this down.
I haven't heard which company is mine. Yeah.
So which text channel do you have?
Thyme is second, Renegade is third, Muffin is Panzer, and KB is battalion commander.
Okay.
Also, I need call signs for you all.
My call sign is over here.
And you are which company now?
I'm third company, rifle infantry.
Can you roll?
So would the Soviets start immediately shooting here? Or like, how do we?
They basically, they're like a skirmish. They ordered to like fire at the enemy and retreat, but they're probably gonna wait for the enemy to be like pretty close.
They won't shoot. They won't intercept this bit. Is the main thing.
Yeah, no, they won't. That's too far away.
So I just move them into position.
Yeah, infantry will fire at like max at 400 range. Unless they're like machine, so like pretty close. I'm gonna go look at the German plan so I can help you set up.
I've drawn it here.
Oh, okay, but I just... Oh, 1 second. Oh, so the artillery is off map, so...
That was a tank reference because...
Oh, okay, alright, understood.
Company, big symbol.
Are the tanks supposed to wait for the infantry, I assume?
Yeah, they do covering fire here whilst Thyme moves.
Let's actually move them a bit back. So before, no, let's not. Let's start have the first turn where it be with like the Soviets see the Germans. So move them like they are about to go to the forest.
So these guys are back here.
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah, just move them back.
So they're in a position here.
Let's play then.
Alright.
Fun, guys.
Hey, are the German tanks basically to move behind the infantry, or what are the orders?
So we want the first and second company to get up on like a line here, so they can watch over, and then the tanks will move to their right flank, supported by third on their right.
Alright.
So the tanks can have overview over all these forests. At least the forest edges.
Alright.
And I think we're ready, right?
German, move Ranka, move the pieces a bit back, because this is pretty... Usually after first turn be that the Soviets only see like... They only get report of like enemies are in the distance or something like that. So move everything a bit back. And I'm gonna move these big pieces away because and when units are just moving around, you can put them in this formation because it kind of resembles an two spread out columns type of formation. Alright, yeah, that's good.
I'm doing all the Germans, yes.
Yeah, you're doing all the Germans.
Okay.
Alright. And yeah, don't show the Soviets at the beginning. Don't show the Soviets until, well, you know how to do script.
I mean, they haven't even crossed the ridge yet,
Yeah,
though.
yeah.
Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Don't show. Like, don't show the don't only show the Soviets when they start shooting, and even then just show a little
yeah,
bit.
no, I know how to do
Yeah,
that.
but do tell the Germans that they like excited movement here, so there are hints of enemies here. They're yeah. So you can.
So I'm gonna give them a big ass screenshot, and I'm just gonna say they can't actually see beyond the ridge. This is just for reference.
Yep. I'm gonna go put Germans into their own channels, and I'm gonna co-locate some of them, like Lithium and Time Lord.
Worry, gentlemen. I have high confidence in victory.
Alright, Germans. Game is gonna start. I'm gonna put you into your own channel. Some of you are gonna start the game co-located, so you'll be sharing a channel with someone. And you can put the first time as 1200. And just
I'm gonna give them all the same first screenshot, by the way.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
It's a massive ass screenshot.
Yeah, that's good. And you can start whenever you're ready.
Alright, what's the time again? Sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
1200 midday. Alright guys, the game is finally gonna start. I'm going to move you into your own channels. Okay, this first screenshot is gonna be a big one.
Oh yes, big. I like big.
Don't we all? Alright, it is 1200, comrade captain. It's a hot day in the Lithuanian SSR. The last few... you've received some reports from retreating friendly units that German units are on the move in the south. And now you can begin seeing these German units approaching you. In the southeast, near Vladikiskas, you can see German infantry going through the village, seemingly clearing it, with some individual soldiers moving a bit more forwards as scouts. The enemy still hasn't entered any of the forest though, and are basically on the level of Vladikiskas. Further to the southeast, in the direction of the road leading to Kiemelai, you can hear the sounds of engines in the southeast.
Huh?
Alright, it is 1200, comrade commander. Your first screenshot is going to be very big, so you're going to basically just see where the friendly units are. Your troops are currently deployed in the railroad village of Kaiserslautern, which has a sizable Jewish population, as a little fact. Currently, You have received some reports from your forward scouts in the forests south of you, near Kaiserslautern. You have received a runner reporting that they have sighted in the distance a German column marching towards Kiemalai, and the Germans seem to be right now on the level of Stasiunai. Alright, comrade commander, it's 1200. The first screenshot is going to be a really big one, so you can basically get a good sense of your surroundings. Your troops are deployed in the forest. You're quite pleased about yourself because your soldiers have been able to prepare quite good positions in the little time they've had. You've checked the foxholes of every man, and they seem to be quite well dug in. As well dug in as you can be in a few hours. You haven't currently received any reports from your friendly scouts, but you are yeah, you're just gonna have to wait and see, I reckon. Also, I should mention that the your own company hasn't really dug in at all. The initial hours of the invasion were a mess, and your troops haven't basically dug in at all. But seems like none of the troops in your battalion, except for the machine gun company, have been really preparing defensive positions. And to your knowledge, the positions of the machine gun company are actually quite well dug in the sense that they actually have foxholes for.
Actually dug in.
Yeah. Do you have any orders?
You say that we have contact with the enemy exclusively in Vladkishkesh and east of Vladkishkesh.
Yep.
Okay. Well then, we will concentrate the two companies from the main road. You know, the one that's leading north and then into Kashia-Dorish, towards here to the center. And they're to stay in the woods while doing it.
Alright. So 2 platoons come to you.
And I will personally go to direct the movement to make sure they don't get confused or something.
Understood. Alright, do you have any orders?
So, question, can I send a screenshot outlining what I want to do?
Yep.
So I'll take the 2 rifle platoons, the ones two really close together, sitting at the back of the town. And I'll move them forward. I'll send you an image where specifically.
Alright. I should also note that the initial hours of the invasion have been pretty much a chaos, so your troops haven't really had any time to prepare their defensive positions. So many have just taken firing positions, and that's all. There are no foxholes or barricades or anything of the sort.
Try to sort them out to have, make a keyhole positions to try to find the most suitable ones before the Germans arrive.
Alright.
And here's where I want those 2 rifle platoons to move.
Understood. Do you mean you have 4 rifle platoons basically on the same level, so do you want the western ones to go there, or which ones?
Yes, the western ones, the ones sitting at the back, sort of at the back.
Alright.
Hello?
Hello, what's the range of those mortars? It's 1.5 kilometers.
And how long is a map grid here?
It's 1 kilometer.
Okay.
It's currently 1.8 kilometers to the positions of first rifle company. But yeah,
all right.
Do you have any orders?
Yes. So first of all, I want to just remind, this is another special order for my troops, that if they see men charging through that wood line, they should verify that those are Germans and not, the Soviet battalion there before shooting. And then second order, my mortar company, I'd like them to move up into, like, move down that road to the sort of the corner of that woods, right next to one machine gun company. I can't really read their numbers, but you see where I mean, right?
Wait, can you say again? Actually, I was doing something.
No problem. The mortar company, I'd like them to move down that road to the sort of corner of that woods, so that they have a clear line of sight of that entire area and can be used to support at longer range.
Understood. Alright, are you ready?
Yeah, question, is this alright for the tank screenshot? Because I presume he's like out of the thing, right?
Yeah, he's out of the thing, it's just like... Oh, you sent it as a private message. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, just let it be little. Yeah, you can maybe give him more information about the friendly units, but enemy units is less. Yeah, but yeah, that's cool as well. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go to 12:15. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing the screenshot.
Soviets are actually, don't tell them about Soviet units. These guys are walking at the head followed by their commanders. So just to make sure they don't really reveal themselves. So nothing to report really.
Yeah. Just saying the screenshots now.
Yep. Alright, Commander. Your troops are currently following your lead through the forest. They've almost reached. They're about almost at the position you kind of expected them to regroup at. They've been following your troops, and it seems like they're in good formation, so they're not walking on the edge of the forest. As you're walking, you've gotten a runner from your second platoon just to your east, and they have sent a runner informing you that the enemy is moving from WW2-Kriegsspiel to the kind of the rolling hills north of it, forming a sort of line, and they also can see enemy tanks just northeast of the village, and you yourself can personally now through your binoculars see in the distance these enemy infantry and enemy tanks. Also east of the enemy tanks towards Kiemalai you can see enemy infantry just next to them. Alright, Comrade Captain. You received a runner as well from your commander. Currently you can through your binoculars see enemy troops way in the south, southwest of Kiemalai on the rolling hills. They seem to be stationary now, but are in spread out lines. Southwest of this infantry are enemy tanks. And to the distance you can see more infantry at WW2-Kriegsspiel. Seems like the enemies are kind of spread out over the rolling hills in a line formation.
Hey.
Hello. Your troops, your motors have changed their positions. Currently, you don't have your scouts are not really on the same level of the scouts of the first. Are not close. Your scouts, basically none of your company has troops near the front, so you don't really get reports of what is happening except by a runner from first company commander. You can hear in the distance to the southeast, a few kilometers away, the sounds of engines. Alright, Comrade Commissar, do you have any orders?
Set the men up, the ones that came with me here, well, about here.
Alright.
Spread them out a bit, so if artillery fire comes down, then we're not all hit. And I suppose we will recline our left a bit further into the woods.
Alright, so you wanna spread your left a bit towards Priekem.
No, I just want them to go further back into the woods.
Ah, okay, so you wanna... Oh, okay, you want basically your easternmost unit just to go a bit deeper into the woods. Is that what you're saying?
So I want my left to recline into the woods, and I want my right to just form up about here.
Understood, okay.
Spread out a bit.
Alright, that's clear.
And I will once again personally direct the movement.
Nice. Alright, do you have any orders?
Yes, are the mortars in range of the enemy units I've sighted?
Can you say again?
Are the mortars in range of the units I've spotted?
They are out of range. They're 3 kilometers away. Each grid is 1 kilometer. And your mortars have a maximum range of 1.5 kilometers.
Alright, then I do wish to move the mortars up a little bit forward on the railway itself for easier communication.
Understood. Also, Davali, I see you asked, do the Soviets have any AT guns? No, they don't have any AT cannons, but they have like very small amount of AT rifles and basically Molotovs and stuff, so they have their infantry has very limited AT capability.
Hey.
Alright, Comrade Commander, do you have any orders?
Yes. So, in light of recent events, first of all, that mortar company, I'd like them to actually move to the side a little bit so that they're basically where they are, but just so that they're not in the forest itself. So on the other side of that road. Not to their front, to their side.
Alright, gotcha.
And then just the other thing is that I want to move forward closer to the tree line so I can see the entire clearing and also the town in person.
Understood. Okay. By the way, in your dispatch, you've written that you want to send a message to the 73rd Rifle Regiment. I should note that each one of you is a company commander, and the first rifle company commander is acting as your battalion commander as well. So basically, Great Gold is the battalion commander.
Battalion commander.
Yeah,
all right,
so
I will edit that.
Okay.
So
no,
what? I'll just write it, Comrade Great Gold.
Yeah, that's fine. So each one of you is a company commander, but Great Gold is also acting as the battalion commander. So you're all part of a battalion.
And so wait, and I am the machine gun company.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so I'll just edit that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, and and every unit piece you see on the map is a platoon.
Ah, all right.
Cool. Okay.
So, Beef Path start here or not?
No, they're waiting.
Okay. I could start taking the screenshots.
Yeah, other German tanks moving basically carefully because they can move like
Just like 3 tanks have moved to the hamlet here.
Okay.
The rest are staying on the ridge.
Man, if they had an AT gun, the Soviets, they could just pop out. Alright, let's go to 12:30 then.
Yeah, I'm just taking the screenshot.
Alright, comrade. Commander.
Yes.
Most of the Germans seem to be lined up in in a long spread out line on the rolling hills to your southeast. They are overwatching northwest, and you can see many of your men trying to stay as still as possible inside the forest. You don't expect that the troops that you ordered to move northwards to be spotted in any way, though, because they are quite deep in the woods. You've been able to see at least a few German infantry platoons move from Titnagal to the forest northwest of it. And you can kind of see them yourself through your binoculars now. The enemy, you can see at least a dozen tanks southeast of you, very menacingly lined up on the hill, and at least 3 or so tanks, basically a platoon's worth of tanks, has moved northwestwards towards the fields, and seems to be moving at the pace of the infantry that is moving with them. Alright, comrade commander. To your south you can see quite an impressive amount of black dots in the distance, which seem to be German tanks. They are lined up on the rolling hills overwatching northwest. You can see some of the tanks that are moving northwestwards with the speed of the nearby, at the same speed as the nearby infantry.
Greetings.
Alright, comrade commander, it's 12:30. You've moved your personnel to position to kind of better see over the fields. You can see that the friendly units in Kaiser-Dorst have changed some of their positions and are looking for better positions inside the south and western part of the village. To the south, you don't really see anything. There's a great big forest blocking your way. You continue hearing sounds of engines to the southeast. It's basically becoming just white noise for you. Hello, do you have any orders?
Remain hidden within the woods until the enemy starts crossing the open field, at which point start tearing into them.
Alright. Alright, Commander, do you have any orders?
Would I be allowed to prepare a fire mission, but not actually launch, just prepare it for when the enemy is moving through that area?
Yeah, you can sight your guns there, although it's still over 1.5 kilometers away.
Alright,
Alright, do you have any orders, Comrade Commander?
No. All units are to stay as they are.
Alright. Hey, Lancer MacMan. If this, I see you wrote. Yeah, I see you wrote. If the Soviets have PTRD anti-tank rifles, those would be easily capable of defeating the armor of any tanks the Germans are likely using in 1941 scenario. Yeah, true. Most of the German tanks here are Panzer IIs, except for this tank, which is Panzer IV with the short barrel gun. So yeah, they're pretty. The Soviets on paper have pretty good AT capability. The thing is that the supply situation historically of the Soviet Union in 1941 really varies a lot. The Soviet Union has just expanded their army so much that many of their troops lack even normal basic necessities like anti-tank rifles and the ammunition. So the Soviets here in this, so the Soviets in real life, for many cases, they had anti-tank rifles, but they had limited ammunition. But this is that's just like it's a big army, so it varies widely. But in this scenario, basically, I've described it to the Soviet players. Described the Soviet players their situation as such that their units have AT capability, but it's seen as inadequate. So they have AT, so they're forced to engage the enemies at around 200 or meter range. So they have basically maybe each platoon has like, I don't know, one anti-tank rifle at max, if even that. But the rest of the men have just AT grenades and like Molotovs. Like they basically haven't gotten the amount of AT equipment they should have, and maybe they have poor training as well. Also, I'm not sure actually. When I think about it, I think the 1941 organization of the Red Army infantry division, I think an infantry battalion as a whole would have like a dedicated AT rifle team, like only 4 anti-tank rifles. So not each platoon wouldn't. Definitely not. I don't think each platoon would have an anti-tank gun rifle, anti-tank rifle. But I don't actually. I'm not sure. I can't remember that. If that's true, how much they have. But for the sake of the scenario, yeah, they have AT grenades mostly, and they are basically forced to fight close. Hey, Rankine. So the Germans are moving up.
Are the Soviets shooting at them?
They've been ordered to fire once the Germans cross the open area. So not quite yet.
Okay. So it's just a nice traffic jam over there. And screenshot time.
Yep. Yeah, 12:45. I'm ready, so let's go.
Yeah, sorry, I'm just doing the screenshots.
That's cool. You can tell the Germans that they maybe see some Soviet troops, or they see some like vague movement inside the forest, but that's all. They're like this Soviets are.
12:45, yes.
Yep, 12:45. I like the dispatch to subordinate comrades.
That is the most base thing I've ever seen, I think.
Alright, Comrade Commissar.
Yep.
You can see that the Germans have started leaving their overwatching positions. For example, in Vladikiskas you can see only a platoon of 2 of German infantry stay on the rolling hills, while the rest of the infantry has moved into the forest southeast of you, disappearing into its depths also, although you can see German platoons every once in a while there. So the enemy is definitely leaving the village of Vladikiskas to head to, and is now mostly in that forest, you reckon. In the east, you can see that the German tanks also on top of the hill have started moving northwestwards in a line akin to Napoleonic linear formations, with their infantry moving close to them. Alright, it is 12:45. Comrade Commander, to your south you can see the German tanks start leaving the ridge line and begin moving northwestwards over the fields in a sort of linear formation. You can see enemy infantry moving quite close to the enemy tanks as well, working in close coordination. It seems like the enemy tanks are moving very slow though.
Greetings.
Right, Comrade Commander, you continue hearing, you begin hearing even more rumbles of engines to the southeast in the direction of Priekiem, while you yourself don't see anything. Your men just stay put in their trenches. You can see some of them playing cards with each other as if they weren't taking the situation that seriously. Seems like they're getting a bit bored. Alright, do you have any orders, Comrade Command?
I'm just... oh, wait. Let the bastards get close, then we'll hit them.
Understood. Alright, do you have any orders, Comrade Commander?
Yes, I wish to first send a dispatch. I've written it to the CIC.
Yeah. How you send the dispatch is just write it in your own channel and I'll copy paste it. You maybe want to usually include in the dispatch who it is to and where you think the other person is, because the dispatch runner will, according to that, try to find that person.
Hello?
Hello. Do you have any orders, Comrade Command?
Yep, just about to post a picture of them. It's... whoops. Here we go. It's just... oh, shit. 1 second, I'll have this.
No problem.
Alright. It's basically just a slight reshuffling, because I'm a little bit worried about the east. So, that one platoon should move where I am, me and the other platoon will move further east, and the rifle platoon will just move back a little bit so they can't be charged.
One thing should be noted, and that the Soviet, your soldiers have dug foxholes at their current location. So if you were to move them, they would leave their foxholes.
So, okay, so really quickly, it's not like one line of trenches running along the trees.
No, it is just foxholes dug in like over the period of like 6 hours or something.
In that case, scratch that order. Instead, I'm just going to send a few commissars to go up and down the ranks and slap any soldier who seems like he's not paying attention.
That's pretty realistic, actually. Nice.
Alright.
That was pretty funny. Actually, yeah, do they have political commissars in the whole army at this level? I mean, in 1941, the Soviets brought back the political commissars in, I think, August 1941, as basically second commanders. So quite infamously, they were basically like had same authority as the regiment commander, or the same rank as they had. But I'm not sure if they still had before they brought those guys back with high authority. I think they still had like the average company commissars, just upkeeping morale. So I think that's pretty cool what he did there. Okay, I see. Nice to see people actually writing in the chat on a Wednesday. I thought it would be a bit more quiet. Yeah, people are talking about the AT rifles in World War II. Alright, Davali says the Soviets don't have PTRDs in the 1941 organization of their infantry division, but they have a platoon with two anti-tank guns per battalion. Yeah, that's true. Oh, there's some combat I need to resolve. While I'm doing that, I'll speak. Yeah, they should have. Actually, in the out of battle, they do have anti-tank gun platoons, but I've decided that in this case, they don't even have those. They really haven't gotten anything they should have. So yeah, these guys are in a bit of a pickle. Okay, I'm gonna do a split decision thing. Alright, Comrade Commissar, think fast. At what point do you let your troops open fire? Currently you see first German units leave the forest. They are about 500 meters away. Usually usually defenders want to hold their fire as long as they can until the enemy is within like 200 meters range. But do you fire already?
No, then we'll do that. Let them come.
Alright, understood.
Man, this guy confused east and west and then corrected himself to the wrong answer.
I feel like that's surprising. Yeah. I feel like that's surprisingly common for some reason for people to mix.
Man, east and west is not that hard.
Yeah. Okay, so the Soviets, they have been ordered to open fire only when the enemy is like 200 meters close.
So no shooting yet?
No shooting yet. So okay. Are you ready to go to 13? Or
just give me a second, just to check everything is... Yeah, okay.
Alright.
So these guys will be separate next turn, okay.
Yeah, go ahead whenever you're ready. Whoa, I had this weird error message sound in Discord that was like super loud. Man, I wonder what the Soviet commanders think. This must be like... There's quite a few. Okay, Rankin just said Discord machine broke. Hey, Great Goat, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Good, because Rankin just said Discord machine broke, so I wanted to check that Discord actually works for me still. sorry, 1 sec. I'm still sending screenshots.
Okay.
Alright, so you can see the first German units have moved up, are moving up from the forest to your south. They've taken positions in the village of Kaušiska. The enemy is being very careful, it seems like, and your troops are basically biting their nails and under this tremendous pressure they have. You can see the German tanks do a bit of maneuvering. You can see some German tanks which seem to be a bit bigger than the rest of the tanks, and other enemy tanks move south back to the hill. And you can see...
This is not really a blitzkrieg, is it?
Yes, this is indeed not a blitzkrieg. Right, Comrade Commander, you can see the Germans moving their soldiers very slowly. It seems like the enemy is being very cautious. Alright, Comrade Commander. Seems your company commissar has gone off to make sure that the men are understanding the seriousness of the situation, and has and you can now see personally that many of the soldiers seem to be better manning their fighting positions. Alright, do you have any orders?
Yes. Once any German unit starts making it for our wood line, they are to be shot at.
Alright. They make it to inside your wood line?
No, as they start approaching the outside of it.
Oh, okay, understood. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And try to concentrate fire wherever possible between multiple platoons.
Alright, understood. Alright, do you have any orders?
This turn I have no orders.
Alright. Alright, do you have any orders?
Yes, one minor one. So, in order to make sure that my troops don't get bored again, until fighting actually begins, I mean, this is the Soviet army, I'm sure they have empty vodka bottles lying around, I'd like them to start making more Molotov cocktails.
You don't unfortunately have the petrol or anything to make Molotov cocktails anymore.
Well, then I'm going to grab some local boy and have him go get some. So if we wait in reserve long enough, eventually we'll have materials.
Understood. Quite creative. Okay, I think I'm gonna go to the German command and I'm gonna ask what's the hold. German battalion sphere. You receive a radio message from the regimental HQ, and it's your regimental commander quite frustratingly asking you basically what is the hold up. The speed is key in the offensive, and they are wondering why you are taking so long to take over the Soviet Bolshevik railway line. And then he basically slams the phone, the radio phone down, very frustratingly. Okay, maybe that will. Yeah, this is pretty. I think I did tell them pretty detailed where the positions are. I didn't tell them, the Germans, about these positions at all, though, because I imagined that these units in this forward line would maybe somehow stop the enemy from getting more information from scouts. It seems like the Germans are really being cautious here, and if I see that the Valiant Lancer MacMahon in the chat talked about like anti-tank guns in the infantry regiment. Yeah, usually these guys would have those two anti-tank guns for their battalion. But since they don't have, they're kind of screwed. But if they had the anti-tank guns, I think they could pretty well strike these enemy tanks, as they've been moving very slowly. Maybe next, and I really do need to make a scenario next which has like actual panzer grenadiers, so maybe that will prompt the Germans to advance a bit faster with their troops. Yeah. Also, a good number of the battalion guns must have been lost during the retreat. Yeah, I would imagine so. They lost quite a lot of equipment in their retreat. Not just waiting for rain, kind. Wait, did I even take orders? Wait a sec. Comrade Commissar, did I take orders from you? I kind of forgot.
Well, the orders were, if any of those Germans are stupid enough to make for our wood line, then they're shot at. They're to be shot at while they're in the open,
Right.
and when they're like closer to us. So I don't want to engage at max range, but I do want to shoot at them before they get into the wood line.
Did I take those orders this turn already?
You said we already talked about it this turn. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, kind of forgot. Multitasking with this streaming business. Yeah, this is pretty slow game. This is Germans are being pretty cautious. Fuck it, let's make it so that they open fire finally. They're pretty close to each other anyway, so. Okay, let's make it so that these guys only now started firing. The Soviets have been itching. The average Soviet soldier's trigger finger has been itching for long enough. If somebody's trying to look at this dice and hasn't unpied the system before, I think they're not going to have any idea what is happening. Did the smart thing, which is hide.
It's begun.
Yeah, I decided that the Soviet riflemen's trigger fingers have been hitching for so long that they opened fire. I pressed the button to hide all the useless tokens in my. There we go. Took a while.
I mean, like half of them are still here, don't know.
Yeah, but. I copied.
Oh, yeah, smoke was launched into Kiev, pre-Kiev, by the way.
Oh, okay. Yeah, combat basically just started.
Okay,
Oh, nice.
Alright, hello.
Hello.
The commander is on the command tank. Like.
Oh, well, we get. Okay, he climbed on top of the tank or something. Oh, he's like right next to it. I think that's something you can do.
Alright. Let's see a screenshot time.
Yeah, firing, like combat just started.
This one is blue 2. No, it's blue 3. I'm gonna move him back together.
Pretty generous with that view. Oh well.
I'm sorry?
And I was just pretty generous with one of the screenshots, but I guess they have
Spec my
scouts.
damage.
They have scouts, so PPO. Alright, it is 13:15. You get a runner from your first platoon, which is in the east, near closest to Priekiem, and they're basically asking you to come there to observe the enemy. And it seems like the enemy, when you arrive there, you can kind of see out of the forest in the southeast large amounts of enemy infantry moving towards Priekiem, with the enemy tanks in southeast of them. As you're visiting the first platoon, unfortunately, you start hearing gunfire to your west and soon to your south. It seems like the troops to your west have opened fire on the enemies, which were just starting to cross the open area. You can through binoculars, even though you're in the depths of the trees, see some German soldiers falling down, and you can see the enemy firing back with great intensity. The firefight has just broken out on like under a minute ago. To your east also you see mortar. What you think? You discern to yourself that they're mortars. You see mortar smoke shells landing on the village of Priekiem. Nervous laugh. Alright, Comrade Commander. You begin hearing sounds of fighting into the southwest, likely in the direction of VNK Bankaušiske, and you also see smoke rounds land on Priekiem. You don't see any traces though, and the enemy troops that you do see in the south seem to not be firing their guns or anything. Combat has just begun, only under a minute ago or so. It is now 13:15. You begin hearing sounds of fighting only under a minute ago to your southeast. It seems like there are rifles and machine guns being fired in the forest just around VNK Bankaušiske. You think you can also see some smoke rounds, smoke artillery rounds landing on the village of Priekiem. You also send one of your runners to look for petrol from the nearby area. You can hear one of your sergeants think to themselves though that this might be a pretty difficult task because Lithuania is especially poor, and there really aren't many gas stations in the area. But maybe they can find a tractor or something. Someone farmer owning a tractor or something. Alright, do you have any orders?
Send the third unit, the one that is in the middle, into the engagement as well. Have them join. And the unit I'm with will continue reclining back into the woods and awaiting the enemy to spring forth from Priekiem. And of course firing on them when they do.
Understood. Oh yeah, important question. Where do you personally want to be?
I suppose I'll lead forward the unit that I just sent into combat.
Alright. Do you have any orders?
No orders.
Understood. Alright, do you have any orders?
Yes, two. First of all, I'd like to send a message to my whole company that, okay, so I'm right next to that one platoon, right?
Yeah, you're right next to 2nd machine gun platoon.
Alright. So the entire company is to be told that they are not to open fire. If they see people, they can, line up their guns, but do not open fire until 2nd platoon has opened fire. And I'm going to direct that myself, and I'm only going to fire if I'm sure that those are German troops and not, our comrades.
Alright.
Oh, and one more thing. When it comes to requisitioning supplies, obviously I'm not sending many of my people out, but whoever is out there, they should steal any petroleum they see, and if any farmers give them trouble, just shoot them.
Understood. Okay. War crimes are not really allowed in the IKS. Let's pretend we didn't hear that. Oh, this guy doesn't get to roll because he's suppressed. Oh well. Actually, yeah. Is there a disadvantage? They're out in the open. Oh, and they're out in the open and the enemy is close, so it doesn't work for them. Okay, well, let's say this guy hits at least. Least war criming Eastern Front Command. Basically, yeah. Whoa! That is a lot of artillery. I think the Germans just are just using their artillery battery. No, the Soviet initial line of defense is starting to, the skirmish line is what they call it, is starting to be like the main line of resistance for the Germans. Do the Muscovites have any chance? Asks Norse by Northeast. Well, if you look at the situation, the Soviets are already like... I think the Soviets are doing pretty well. They basically... the German advance has been so slow that their regimental commander is probably getting frustrated. And there's this one Soviet platoon, first Soviet rifle company here is doing quite well already against this one unit of one company of German soldiers. So I think the Soviets can win this. They also looks like the Germans once Rankin comes up back, he can explain to us. But looks like the Germans have used up at least some of their artillery.
Hello. So,
Yep.
German commander ordered artillery to strike here and here, which I think is really funny.
All right. In those positions, so not close to.
No, he said north of Bankoczyska and north of Priekiem, so like this area.
Okay, I'm gonna roll for the artillery. Is it the suppression mission or what mission?
I'm gonna ask you.
Yeah. I think there must be some kind of, because they have artillery observers, so I think there's a chance that it could hit this guy.
Suppression.
Suppression mission, okay. I'm gonna roll, it does some damage. I'm gonna disadvantage 2 because it's so far away. Okay, it suppresses the unit, and I'm gonna, because it's like, they have an artillery observer with them, so he would direct the artillery at least a bit. But I'm gonna move this a bit close. But the player itself, I say he's fine. Okay, I'm ready, by the way.
Yeah, I'm just taking the screenshots.
Yeah. Man, this German in Soviet first line of defense has been like pretty formidable, the skirmish line, with how long the Germans are taking.
I mean, we'll see. The Germans aren't being too stupid, really.
Yeah, they just maybe. I should have emphasized that they are expected to be faster, since it's like the invasion and all. 1330. I'm gonna go no. Player with heavy D&D experience. I go to the nearby nuclear power plant and use my crafting skills to fabricate a 1 kiloton nuclear bomb. Yeah, that's kind of the equivalent. One of the Soviet players told one of their soldiers to go look for petrol in the nearby region to build Molotov cocktails. Yeah.
That guy's never coming back.
Yeah, I think he just deserted the army, that guy.
Hello.
Hello. All right, commander, you're coordinating your. Which platoon is this? My game is lagging too hard. I can't see. You're coordinating your second platoon to join the fight, and they begin firing at the enemy in the southern patch of forest. The enemy on the open plains fall back, leaving some of their wounded comrades behind while carrying some of them. Seems like
classic.
Yeah, your men are. It is boosting the morale of your men tremendously. But suddenly you begin hearing whistling shells. First shells landing at Priekiem, and then it seems like the shelling approaches your location and hits the positions of your second platoon a few dozen meters away. Men take cover because of the shrapnel, but seems like no one is luckily hit. But you thank your lucky stars that the enemy artillery wasn't right on your position. The firefight is still ongoing, and you can now hear intense artillery fire to your east, with some of the shells landing quite close to your location. I need to send dispatches real quick. Alright, comrade commander, to your south you can see the enemy tank shuffling around with the enemy infantry. You continue hearing increasing rifle fire to your southwest in the forest, likely where first company is located. You also now begin hearing sounds of artillery, and you can see shells landing on Priekiem. It seems to be quite formidable artillery shell, likely coming from German howitzers. Alright, comrade commander, you continue hearing intense sounds of rifle and machine gun fire to your southeast inside the forest opposite of you. You also now begin seeing the impacts of artillery shells in the direction of Priekiem in the forest. Alright, comrade, do you have any orders? I almost called you sir.
Grand honor. Well, I suppose we want to start peeling back into the wood line and stop this engagement. And we want to stay in these woods for now, but we will...
Wait, so what is your order exactly? What are you doing?
Are any of our units suppressed, or...?
Well, the platoon you're with the men are... Many of the men's ears are ringing because of the artillery and rifle fire, so they seem to be ducking their heads because of enemy shots.
So it would take a while to get them together, or...?
Yeah, well, you can see that they're a bit disorganized right now, let's say that.
Alright, well, I'll reorganize them since I'm with them for this turn. And I guess we will stay in combat. And the left is just to continuously keep a watch and recline should a great number of enemies come at it. But for now, stay in the woods, because I don't want to get shot by our own machine guns accidentally. I'm going to send a runner to make sure that doesn't happen.
Alright.
Oh.
Alright, so do you have... oh, sorry, I mean comrade, do you have any orders?
Yes, adjust the mortars a bit to the east of the pre-sighted area and start dropping some harassing fire towards those tanks just to try to disrupt their attack. Only a few rounds or so.
Alright. So you're basically a suppression barrage. Oh.
Yeah, just a harassment. Yeah, a harassing barrage suppression.
Okay. Alright. Alright, do you have any orders? Your mic is muted, by the way.
Sorry about that.
Yep, do you have any orders?
Yes, I would like my mortars to begin opening fire west of Bankoczyckie. I believe that's how you say that. In the clearing there. So not the forest, but in the clearing.
Understood. Okay, what's going on in... okay, I need to first resolve this. Also, these guys are now... Doop doop. Okay. The Germans are just being disorganized. Also need to roll for that artillery. If anyone wants to learn the dice, just join one of the games and I'll translate that to the units being disorganized. Okay, let's look at the chat now. Frontal assault across open terrain against dug-in defenders and on tree land. Almost recipe for success. Yeah, basically. Well then, yeah, the Soviets aren't that dug-in, to be fair. They've only taken some defensive positions and nothing more. But yeah, the one thing is that the Germans don't really outnumber the enemy in this area, so that's quite bad. Oh, looks like there's some mortars being fired. If the Soviets had any artillery, half of the Germans would already be gone. Yeah. Well, they do have their mortars, but they're now firing one of their mortars. Oh yeah, and I almost forgot this guy fired these mortars, but I was in the clearing, so I didn't roll for it. How good were the Soviets in coordinating / directing hasty artillery support at this point of the war? Probably as worst as they could be at this point of the war. The Soviets, throughout the war, suffered from technically trained personnel. The Soviet Union itself, although they had made advances in the field of education, they still were they didn't have enough trained personnel for their strong large artillery arm. So they basically, typical to the Soviets, they fired a lot of the artillery, for example, in direct fire mode, in visual range of the enemy early in the war. Okay, Rankin, how's it going? Was it
okay, we have one mortar's hitting these guys, one mortar's just shooting into the empty forest.
Okay. Is the artillery still going?
No, it stopped.
Okay, can you remove those?
No, I will not.
Okay, understood. Okay. By the way, there's a mortars hitting just this empty clearing, and also mortars hitting...
Oh, is this the mortar round one?
Yeah, mortar round. No,
okay.
No, not that mortar. It's Soviet mortars.
Oh, okay, sorry.
And there's a mortar firing here
in
the middle of the tank. It doesn't hit anyone, but it's like fucking spooking the tank crews up, to say the least. And also, this German commander, he should just, like, his men urged to retreat, basically, because they've taken a lot of casualties.
What's the light artillery die again?
It's the one that I'm using, haha.
I'm gonna use it as well.
Okay, well, it was... I'm gonna do decide if... I already wrote that.
Oh, okay.
Was it... How many artillery? It was only one.
There's one mortar.
Okay, I rolled one die already, so...
Okay. Is it not per... Okay.
No, it's... Unless I make some special unit if rule players are clumped up, but no. Yeah, let's go to 1345. Tell the regimental commander that he again receives a call from... Oh, never mind. I'll do that later. Yeah, never mind. Okay. Let's just go to 1345.
Okay.
Grigol, the Soviet commander-in-chief, just sent a message. He's over here fighting to tell the machine gun company not to fire at him when he retreats. Alright, comrade commander, the firefight continues, and you seem to be, with your troops continuing firing, well, yeah, nothing has really changed. There isn't a clear winner in this firefight, and your troops have suffered some casualties. The enemy artillery barrage ended, but Now it seems like the artillery caliber has changed to something lighter, as you can see and hear artillery landing on the clearing south of you, which sounds to you that this artillery fire that is coming to the clearing south of you is actually coming from your northwest, which might hint at the friendly artillery firing.
They dare I didn't give orders for that.
And
this is
and the your units to your west seem to be under mortar fire. You can see the friendly units there firing less and less, as they seem to be taking quite a lot of mortar fire or some kind of light artillery. And to your northeast you also hear shells landing into the depths of the forest. You're also with your presence and your coordinational skills, you're able to reorganize the second platoon quite well, and the men have returned to full battle effectiveness. Alright, Comrade Commander, your mortars fire rounds in the middle of the German tanks. Some of the shots land quite close. Unfortunately, none of them hit any tanks or infantry, it seems like, but they are definitely doing something. As you can see, kind of the German tank commanders turn inside their tanks, and the German infantry begin to spread out even more. You continue hearing sounds of artillery and gunfire to your southwest inside the forest near Priekiem. You can hear artillery fire to the southeast continue, and the rifle fire continue as well. The artillery fire has lessened, but you can still definitely hear a lot of fire there. Lancer McMahon asks, I joined a bit late. Did the Germans ever consider attempting a flank effort through Kemalai or up their road near Seminikai and Pankauskiske? Okay, so in the game I've set up a quite a restricted area of operations for this scenario, so the Germans are only allowed to move, basically be left of these areas, so they can't really move much anywhere. I basically kind of I'm just experimenting stuff, so they're friendly units like they're fighting in these areas. Alright, Comrade Commander, do you have any orders?
We're once again suppressed, so we can't go anywhere. I suppose we'll stay and shoot again.
Yeah.
I'll go and try to get those men reorganized as well.
Understood. Alright, Comrade Commander, do you have any orders?
Yes, cease the barrage, just ceasefire, and that would be it.
Alright, understood. Alright, do you have any orders?
My men are to be ready to open fire, but that's just about it. One last reminder to be sent through the ranks that everyone should, have their fingers on the trigger, be ready.
Understood.
And of course, they are all to only open fire once my, I believe, second platoon opens fire.
Understood. Oh boy. Oh, this guy's kind of screwed.
Right, hello.
Hello. Is there
He's leading from
artillery?
the front. He explicitly said this, so pistol in hand, give him his command of.
Okay,
Right.
is there any artillery happening here still?
No, no artillery is happening.
Okay. The Soviets were actually suppressed by the artillery, so they don't even get to roll. Did he order like an assault or what kind of?
No, he's just advancing into the forest.
Okay, alright, I'm gonna... Okay, I can check like he's only... Firefight only now broke out then. Okay. Where's the... I need to go back for the suppression, there we go. No, it's already rolled. Right.
Oh, this is the extra roll.
Oh, okay, sorry. Well, it was another suppression, I think, what he rolled. So there you go. So he's definitely doing pretty well then.
And yeah, that's all the shooting.
Yeah. There we go. And the artillery here stopped as well. These lines here are just for the viewers. They didn't know there was like an area of operations. Alright, let's go to 1400.
Aye.
My god, there's German tanks. So many.
At least they're not just ignoring the entire battle, like,
yeah.
I can understand.
Yeah, we need to remember that they got the mines there, so... In the small areas. If they go there.
Okay.
Alright, is 1400. There's no more artillery fire. You move to the positions of the 4th and 3rd platoons, which seem to be getting their act together by the time you arrive there. You can see less and less enemy fire coming from the southeast. Soon you can only hear your own men firing. It seems like much of the enemy forces have disengaged. For example, you can see troops running out of VNK Bankaušiske to the south.
We actually beat them back.
To your east, though, you think you can see... looks like no one else has of your troops has spotted yet, but you can see some German units moving to the forest just northeast of VNK Bankaušiske. Into the small patch of forest. You hear sounds of engines to your east, northeast, and you now begin hearing very intense rifle and machine gun fire to your east, likely from the positions of 1st platoon. And you receive a very hasty runner from 1st platoon that they are indeed under attack. Alright, comrade commander, you don't hear any sounds of artillery anymore. To the southwest, though, you can still hear rifle and machine gun fire coming out of the faraway forest. The enemy tanks continue moving up very slowly with infantry next to them. Alright, it is 1400. You no longer hear sounds of artillery, but you continue hearing intense rifle and machine gun fire to the forest southeast of you. I'm gonna go for this guy first. Hello, Comrade Commissar. Do you have any orders?
Yes, I will have another suppressing fire mission from my mortars. They will hit the infantry moving besides the tanks. That 1-3 platoon blob. End up there.
Understood.
And make sure to, I guess compensate for their movement so it doesn't land behind them.
Understood. Alright, do you have any orders?
Only really, or wait 1 second. Alright. Only really that my men should be prepared to duck into their trenches if the artillery should start falling on us.
Understood. Whoops. Good thing it was just the third. Well, lag. Third platoon. There you go. Alright, Comrade Commander, do you have any orders?
Well, finally we can withdraw back to the second line, I imagine. So I will lead the men here, but I will lead the men back towards the machine guns, the second line. We will fly the Soviet flag so they don't shoot us.
Okay, you unfortunately don't carry one.
We don't carry a Soviet flag?
Yeah, I think that's for
This is treason.
ceremonial purpose.
Then we will just shout very loud in Russian.
Understood. Alright, do you have... Oh, wait, sorry, I got your orders already. Oops. Kind of went a weird... Okay, Lancer McMahon says, so they had no option but to frontally assault the Reds in the woods. Certainly makes for short, sharp and bloody scenario. Yeah, I kind of wanted to, I had run a scenario before where the Germans had tanks and they just, with their tanks, they bypassed the Soviet defense. They just drove on the plains and rode away after encountering one ATIG and destroying it, luckily. And then the German infantry, the tankers basically just forgot about the German infantry, and the German infantry basically died. That they were supposed to be supporting, so it actually ended up as a Soviet victory, because all of the infantry supporting the tanks died, and the Soviet infantry was basically going to be able to act as partisans at least or something behind the enemy lines, so they didn't really secure the railway line. It was like here on a different part of the map. The German tanks went around here to the railroad, and the Soviets fought the battle here near Pazardes. They actually did like a counter attack, which was really cool. But yeah, I'm kind of still figuring out stuff with the tanks, trying to make it realistic. Oh wait, oh fuck, I forgot to add the for those, I forgot to add this because I rolled for them and they got suppressed. Have to leave soon, but wanted to first commend you for doing such an... You do a great job of quickly and succinctly conveying info to your players so the action flows well. Yeah, thanks, Lancer McMahon, means a lot. That's what I try to do as an umpire. I try to make sure that the players get the information they should have really in real life, and kind of try to be punctual as well, so it makes the game run faster. Speaking of that, I need to run the game. This guy's still suppressed. Oh, he's only on 1 level suppression now. This is the wrong die, I need the attacker die. Oh, this guy. He runs into the mines. Boom. Lol lol. And the rank kind is taking orders from that person. Yeah. Yeah, good mine placement there. Okay, I think
I'm
this,
actually very interested in the Soviet strategy here.
yeah. Okay, I think the Soviet unit here is just outnumbered and this.
Yeah, this got hit by mortars, by the way.
Oh, what? They're gonna be hit by mortars. Talk about overkill. Okay. I'm just gonna... Oh, never mind, that's the wrong die. Okay, I'm just gonna bloop, and then like it just retreat. It just... It's like fighting... it's going to start
They
retreating.
surrender, basically. Oh, no.
Yeah, actually, oh, actually, maybe not. They saw friendly units running away, so maybe they run away in chaos.
Okay.
But they're basically combat effective now. So you can... And yeah, these guys got hit by mortars, so... So what is up?
Okay. So this is an artillery or mortar strike here?
It's a mortar strike. They don't have anything else.
Okay.
Alright, are you ready for the next turn?
Yes.
Okay, let's go to 1415. We got like steady flow of 10-minute turns, like... It's not like faster than light or anything, but it's like...
I mean, it's faster than actual game, so...
Yeah, that's always nice. Alright, it is 1415. The first rifle company can be seen disengaging from the forest to the southeast and running in somewhat disorganized formation, but still in formation to the positions of the machine gun company. To your southeast, you still continue hearing sounds of rifle fire and now artillery fire towards Priekiem. You can also see one lonely Soviet platoon, if you can even call it a platoon, possibly more like a rabble of men, just running for their lives out of the forest in the southeast under mortar fire, it seems like. And also to your more east-southeast, you can see just seems like platoons worth of German tanks trying to pass through the small opening between the forests as they are hit by anti-tank guns, and one of the tanks blows up and the enemy platoon stops moving. Lesser MacMan asked, mines? Who the hell authorized mines? Yeah, the Soviets actually had chance to put mines in the beginning of the game. They put one AP mines here, AT mines here, AT mines here, and AP mines here. So they were pretty lucky with those use of those actually. I've now removed them from the map so the players don't see them when I take screenshots, but this is what they look like. Black for the AT and this for the AP. Alright, to your southwest you begin hearing sounds of artillery fire in Priekiem. Seems not that much artillery fire though, a few shells. But you continue hearing sounds of rifle and machine gun fire in the forest still. You also can see your friendly mortars hitting quite close to the German infantry positions out in the open. And you also can see a German tank platoon right towards the direction of your friendly anti-tank mines to your southwest. And after you see the enemy tanks disappear behind the forest, you hear one big boom and possibly assume that one of the German tanks rode into the mines. The rest of the German infantry and tanks continue moving northwards.
Yes, sir. Glory to the motherland.
For the motherland.
Do you have any orders, comrades?
Yes. I will quickly take what remains of my command and march them over to MU. There we will attempt to reform everybody into, somewhat resembling order, rally like the fleeing men there and everything. That's what I will do personally.
Understood.
And as for me, I would like, if my mortars are still firing, then they should obviously stop. Sharpshooters have permission to already try and take pot shots if they happen to see an opportunity. Everyone else is to hold their fire.
I don't think you should shoot with the sharpshooters. Don't let them know that
also,
you know.
Yeah. Also, you don't actually have your battalion hasn't been issued with any scopes for any sharpshooter.
Every Soviet soldier is a sharpshooter.
Yeah, basically all riflemen.
Wait, didn't like every squad in like the early war have some kind of sharpshooter?
Yeah, they were on paper. You don't even have AT anti-tank guns here, so yeah.
We have Soviet spirit. That's not on the paper, yet we have it.
Yep.
All right.
Also, your mortars only fired for 15 minutes, so I didn't continue the artillery fire.
I appreciate that. Well then, everyone is to stay as is, and as I said, wait for the second platoon to fire. Once that does happen, everyone should unleash hell.
Alright, and I'll tell you, you hear sounds of engines to your east-southeast. Alright, do you have any orders?
Yes, the mortars will save up whatever ammo they have left and cease fire. And, the infantry, the ones to the east, in the east of the city, once within effective rifle fire range, they will engage the German infantry. Then they will slowly pull back to try to draw them in, and will set up positions around the central crossroad in the city.
Alright, understood. This is Blitzkrieg. Heroic German panzers can't be stopped by mere mines forwards. Landsmack says. Yeah. Unfortunately, looks like it was quite a tight area, so it looks like maybe the tanks were moving in columns, so they can't actually move anywhere. So they just have to go backwards. Now this is getting a bit interesting already. So, oh yeah, that artillery probably isn't firing anymore there. What this guy? Oh man, what is this German first company? They haven't had it the best day. They basically fought and they tried to attack a whole company, so didn't really go that well. At least these guys were able to destroy one Soviet platoon. It was a great gold roll to remove one disruption, so I'm gonna say it's those guys. He is inspiring his men. This is getting really close though. Now, will the German panzers be able to push through the village of Kaiserdoros? Urban combat usually isn't really good. Lancer McMahon says, "Here, comrade private, pin this quote-unquote sharpshooter's badge on your uniform. Yes, I know that the last time you fired a weapon was 2 months ago in basic training, but we need sharpshooters." Yeah, that's basically what could be happening. Holy moly, that is... The German artillery is firing. I assume it's only a suppression barrage. Okay, I'm gonna say no disadvantage. They're pretty spot on with their targets. Oh, maybe I need to...
Hello.
Hello. How wide of an area is the German artillery supposed to fire?
Leading suppression mission, he said the south and southwestern ends of the city.
Like from there to there, or...
I guess so. Like,
yeah, that's pretty spread out area. I'm gonna like
south
only
and
do...
southwestern ends.
Yeah, I'm gonna only do it like it's either or. Because this is not that many. Well, actually, yeah, I guess they could really spread it out. Well, I'm gonna do it like that, so it doesn't look...
the guy said, the tank guy says he wants his guys to shoot into the city, like, once they're in range. Is that even a thing?
Yeah, well, he is in range. Yeah, sure, I can just widely fire into the city.
Based war crimes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's also not a city, really. It's like a village. Was it a suppression barrage, by the way? Or
Yes, it was a suppression barrage.
okay. Yeah, hopefully all the civilians have left that area. Oh yeah, now, since they are firing into that, I'm gonna... Let's treat it as disruption level 2 for everyone except the big guns, because the rest of these guys are just firing machine guns, so they're not guaranteed to kill stuff. I assume the platoon commander is firing as well.
Yeah, he just got everyone be shooting. No.
Yep. Okay, so disadvantage level 2 for everyone except the normal Panzer 4, which is disadvantage level 1. Okay, he doesn't do anything. Okay, he doesn't do anything. Okay, he doesn't do anything. Alright, unfortunately it looks like widely firing into this village didn't do anything since they didn't see anything. But hey, it's it would probably like make these Soviet soldiers really fear themselves. Fear for their lives. By the way, this platoon is still just... it's only one tank that was blown up, so... You can,
yeah, no.
Yeah.
I told him this.
Okay. Understood.
I think he's letting them recover, maybe, I don't know.
You can tell the German soldiers that they saw Soviet soldiers running into this forest here near MU.
Okay, got it.
And yeah, let's go to 1430. Yeah, no problem, Lancer McMahon, I understood. Yup. They were just kidding around, just wanted to explain the prelude to the game. Oh yeah, I need to actually focus. See you, Lancer McMahon. Thanks for following the game, and if you ever wanna play yourself, join the IKS games anytime you want. Oh, yeah, he still sees this tank over here, of course. Alright, Comrade Commander. You're currently regrouping your men near MU. You're able. Seems like the men of the fourth platoon are quite heroic and good Soviet soldiers, as they haven't taken even any casualties, and they are they seem to quick reorganize themselves.
Heroes of the Soviet Union.
The rest of the third and second platoon both have taken around 5 casualties out of their 30-man strength each, and they are still kind of reorganizing their platoons. Meanwhile, unfortunately, the first platoon seems to be done for the day. They lost their commanding officers and
can we integrate? Can we integrate the remainder of first platoon into the remaining units? Fill them up.
No, really. Nah, not really. They're all exhausted, out of ammunition, and demoralized. They need more than a few. They need like at least a few hours until they can fight again. Or if you do send them to the units, they are not going to have much effect, you assume. Meanwhile, to the east, you begin hearing sounds of artillery at Kaunas-Vilnius, and then you begin hearing sound. And as the artillery is going on, you begin hearing dozens of machine guns begin firing towards Kaunas-Vilnius, and also what sounds like a cannon opening on Kaunas-Vilnius as well. All right, Comrade Commander, as you suddenly the village your village starts taking intense artillery fire. Shells begin landing near the positions of your troops. Soldiers quickly find themselves going prone inside the wooden huts which constitute the buildings of this village. To your south, you can, amidst the barrage, see German panzers drive forwards and open up with their machine guns and a few of the cannons that they have inside their inside their tank turrets. So you're under artillery barrage and also under fire from enemy tanks. Your own troops haven't fired at all yet. Alright, their Comrade Commissar Great Goldovich goes to reorganize his troops. To your southeast you can see what seem to be German soldiers in the wood line in the forest near Prekiem. You don't hear any sounds of fighting there anymore. To the east you do begin hearing sounds of intense artillery fire. You can see the village is very much under heavy artillery fire, and there are also what sound like dozens of machine guns and even a few cannons, it sounds like, firing on the village. Possibly the enemy tanks. Alright, do you have any orders?
Can we reorganize and march at the same time, or?
No, you need to fully reorganize. So yeah.
Okay, and then we will stay here, and I will personally award the 4th Rifle Company a medal to encourage the others to also reform and rally.
Okay, it's 4th Rifle Platoon.
4th Rifle Platoon, yeah, sorry.
Oh, so you don't have any medals, but you like basically...
do I have anything? Not a flag, not any medals, not ammunition, not morale.
I don't... Maybe you have like... No, I don't think you carry like...
Just give him a company rock then or something.
Yeah, company rock. Alright. Alright, Comrade Commander, do you have any orders?
Yes, as quick as possible, the company, the platoon to the east, on the easternmost side of the map will cover the platoon next to it, who will try their best to pull back to the crossroad, and then it will pull back as well.
All right. Where do you personally want to be?
I personally want to be right about next to right behind those two platoons, behind the crossroad.
All right.
Greetings.
Hello, do you have any orders, Comrade Command?
I have a quick question, which is those tanks in the little corner that I can see, are they still immobilized? Are they not moving?
You saw one of the tank. You saw a tank at the front of the enemy tank column blow up, so it's like destroyed. Likely by a mine. The rest of the tanks are just, they've been idle. They are just there.
Alright. In that case, my only order is that my men should expect an artillery barrage. So they shouldn't go like all the way into their bunkers or anything. I mean, we don't have bunkers, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
They should be ready to duck down.
Alright. Okay, so Soviet commanders just staying back. And looks like the German infantry is about to launch an attack just after barrage, which is a very good idea. Oh, okay, they're not going to like complete this. Hey, are the German infantry, are they going inside the village, or are they what?
They're also basically doing reconnaissance in force to see if they have AT, but they're just shooting at them from here.
Okay.
The mortar strike and the suppression mission is continuing.
Okay. Okay, well this guy is going to be able to fire because he's not actually suppressed. The other guy he just hates his life probably. Okay, there is no disadvantage in this situation because this is pretty. Oh no, okay, you can.
It's a friendly defense over one. And it's
okay, yeah, maybe let's just apply it to that guy.
Okay.
There you go, and this guy is getting a bit disorganized. It's really maybe a bit too aggressive scouting that commander would have liked.
These guys are also shooting like the western bit, not here, if that matters at all. I don't know if it does.
I don't know. Let's say that they started firing at this guy because they can see like tracers coming out of there, so who in their right mind wouldn't fire there?
Also, the Fime Lord has left his mortars behind.
Just remind him about his mortars.
I will.
Oh, and now I need to roll for the tank. Let's say that it's no disadvantage. They just need to have and surpass that defense level thing. Okay, they suppress this guy. Oh, and they suppress and actually kill him. I hit him. Okay, there you go. The tanks are supporting the infantry, which has taken some casualties and is taking fire amidst this artillery barrage. Oh boy. Alright, 14:45.
Alright.
Oh yeah, I should probably roll if the Soviet commander actually gets hit by the artillery himself. Oh. Was it danger level 3 is like the worst thing?
Rest in peace.
Oh, I need to actually, I'm gonna check my guide document if that danger level is like, if that's like he gets wounded or not. I can't remember. But yeah, you can just go, yeah. Oh sorry, I can't even remember this thing in my own system. Kind of embarrassing. Can't remember if okay, danger level 3 is most dangerous. Okay, he doesn't get gravely wounded, so because he's not like in the front line as well. Like it's if he was in the front line, then he would be greatly wounded. But he's like not getting. He's only being artillery barrage. He's not getting shot at by infantry as well, which is kind of what that is. This guy is not in the best spot right now. Taking lots of artillery fire. Shit. Sorry for cursing. He is able to get a runner out though. It looks like these runners have been just really good on the Soviet side this game. Really fast. Alright, Comrade Commander. The enemy barrage of Kaunas-Vilnius continues, and you continue having very intense rifle and machine gun fire. Also, that dispatch that you sent just before I gave you the update, I'll send it before this.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Because you're so close.
I sent it again. I dated it.
Oh, it's already sent. But yeah, you continue hearing very intense rifle. You begin hearing very intense artillery fire. The barrage is continuing, and you also hear rifle and machine gun fire, but in the region as well, quite a lot of it. Seems like there's a clear battle going on. You also see to the southeast enemy infantry passing through the forest, likely getting ever so close to your minefield.
Alright.
You are inside the village. You have met by artillery constantly firing around you. You begin hearing intense rifle and machine gun fire to your southeast as well, as the friendly second platoon near you opens fire to the southeast, but you're unable to really get any reports from your subordinates due to the intense amount of artillery you are under currently. Alright, it is 14:45. You continue hearing intense sounds of artillery to the east in Kaunas-Vilnius. The enemy barrage continues, and you also continue hearing sounds of rifle and machine gun fire there, which seem to intensify now. You can see enemy troops passing through the forest, small patch of forest to your east, moving northwards. Alright, do you have any orders?
Yes. I will order the artillery right next to me to fire into the Germans in the wood line, do a suppression mission.
Alright.
Also, I will lead my entire company east into the village of Kaunas-Vilnius while trying to stay out of range of the enemy in the woods there.
Alright, understood. For fucking god. I'm sorry for cursing again. Okay, I need to figure out how fast these tanks go, because if they do, if they see this German Soviet infantry, they are just toast. Oh. Alright, Comrade Commander, do you have any orders?
Yes, once the artillery fire stops, I will send to my subordinate platoons their designated positions, which will be these.
Understood.
I will move my HQ.
Understood. Where do you move your HQ?
Over here.
Oh, okay, I see your picture. Alright.
Hello.
Do you have any orders?
Yes. So, can you tell me which machine gun platoon is that one that is closest to the mortar?
That's the first machine gun platoon.
Okay. They will stay where they are with their machine guns ready to go. Oh, by the way, okay, so before I say anything else, that whole thing about don't fire until the second fires, that's gone now. They are to fire if the enemy, they are to fire at will if the enemy comes into range. The second and third machine gun platoons will rush across the clearing and into the forest. What is that? Into the forest northwestish of Bankauchiske.
Okay.
And last of all, the rifle platoon, they will also rush across the opening. Sorry. Yeah, so all three of them will rush across the opening. The rifle platoon and the second and third machine gun platoon.
Okay.
The machine gun platoons will turn to face east against the Germans there. The rifle platoon will cover their flanks and face south.
Alright, understood.
And I'm going to move with them. I'm going to move with the main force south in the dash.
Understood. They're gonna get shot out, the tanks while they're crossing. Cannot be worse timing. Okay, I'm just gonna... This guy automatically gets destroyed.
Hey Otto, I have to go eat.
Okay.
So just quickly,
okay.
I'm gonna quickly do my rolls, but then you need to do next turn, maybe next 2 turns.
Okay, from where did the tanks come from?
From here.
So did they? Where did they?
No, they went this way.
Okay. Okay, well, it's a pretty tight area, so I'm gonna say like some of them don't come yet. We're gonna even roll combat for this guy, and the Germans were just ordered to go inside.
They're assaulting. Yeah.
No need to. They're just these guys were so heavily suppressed.
This is they're just doing reconnaissance in force here. Mortars are firing here. German mortars are firing here.
Okay.
And yeah, that's it. I need to go.
Yeah, go eat. Yeah. Oh man, everyone is just effectively suppressed. Okay, those guys are doing recon by fire. But this guy is suppressed, but I say he still does fire. And this guy just get a mine this turn, so I'm not gonna having actually roll. So it's like proper firefight. Oh, this unit basically just routes. No, they can't really route because there's an artillery barrage or mortar barrage, so they basically bombed. Oh, forgot to roll for those guys. This unit is suppressed. I was suppressed last time, which still affects him now in the system, so. Oh, this guy just routes. Oh, this guy gets the roll though. Very piecemeal style resolving. Kinda keep forgetting stuff to do. Let's say hit those guys. That guy is in combat. Yeah. Let's just do that. Oh, and this is even a big tank here, so. Okay, this guy, let's just destroy this guy. Just all put on everything on this guy. He's like just destroyed. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Oh, sorry, I keep cursing. I shouldn't curse. Oh, accidentally copied the table, oops. Let's see if the commanders die. Okay, that was danger level 3, so it wasn't that dangerous. Okay, well, he loses a broken radio, but he doesn't have a radio, so. Okay, we're nearing the end of the game. Now I need to go give updates to all of Rankine's players as well, so this is going to be a bit of a this turn is going to last a bit longer, but it's going to end soon. Oh yeah, this mortar ran out of ammo. Okay, I'm not gonna send any dispatches this turn because all the commanders are all over the place anyways. This infantry didn't actually fire. Well, I guess they only now moved to that place, so. Those mortars over there, they are in some kind of ditch. Let's just say that they were able to find some kind of ditch. Okay, now let's go from top to bottom.
Hello.
Hello, okay, Rankan had to go eat, so I'll do this turn quickly.
Oh, it's not the regimental commander yelling at me again.
No, likely not. To your north, you can hear intense firing in the Kaunas-Vilnius, both mortars and infantry. You can also see the friendly panzers firing away. You also hear to the northwest the distinct sounds of panzers in action. Pretty quick. Alright, Panzerführer, as your troops are, panzers are, go through the very tight opening between the between the forests. I guess you went from the north. I now realize that.
Say the last part again. What is to the north?
You bypass the village from the north and begin firing on the enemy infantry. Oh wait, never mind. There's a path here, so you probably went that way. All right, never mind. And anyways, you went through a forest path, and you moved through a forest path past Priekem to the north, ending up in your current position. As you reach the opening behind the forest, as one of your tanks lags behind,
yes.
You sight quite good targets for your tanks. To the south, to the west, near the forest southwest of MU, you sight enemy infantry in droves emerging out of the forest and beginning to run southeastwards to the forest that is to your south near Priekem. You begin firing on this enemy infantry to your west, and you're able to cut down dozens of enemy Bolshevik infantrymen as they are crossing the open space. To your north as well, you hear a call from your radio from 3rd Platoon that they sight targets as well, as they sight a spread out column of Bolshevik infantry moving from MU to Kaunas-Vilnius, and you hear also your friendly tank opening this way with one of your tanks from your own platoon assisting as well, with devastating effect from what you hear. You also, in Kaunas-Vilnius, continue hearing sounds of fighting. Seems like 2nd Company to your northeast is in enemy contact. Alright, from your position, as you have reached the edge of the forest, you oversee to the northwest Bolshevik infantry running the open space from the northwest, getting shot a lot by your friendly tanks, which have passed your lines by a forest path and now are engaging your friendly troops. Are engaging the enemy troops. To your north, you also see enemy troops moving to Kaiserslautern under very heavy fire from the south from your tanks. Alright, Company Fear, as your troops are moving northwards towards Kaiserslautern, one of your troops steps into one of your soldiers steps into a mine, and an explosion is heard as a fellow soldier has discovered a minefield in the worst possible way. Your troops begin firing northwards to reconnaissance Kaiserslautern by fire, and they are met by scattered rifle and machine gun fire from the enemy, who seems to be under mortar attack, and under fire from your friendly troops to the east. You quickly gain fire superiority over the enemy, and your troops are currently rapidly firing into Kaiserslautern with devastating effect. Alright, Company Fear, your troops seem to be clearing out the eastern part of the village of Kaiserslautern. They report that they have wiped out what seems to be an enemy rifle platoon and taken positions in the eastern side of the village. To the west of the village, you continue hearing sounds of mortar fire and rifle fire, as it seems like your friendly tank platoon near you is in combat with the enemy, as is second company to your southwest. Alright, so as your troops are crossing the open area to the east as quickly as they can, there doesn't seem to be much cover. As you're halfway through the trip to Kaiserslautern, you spot German tanks emerging from the forest to your south near Priekem, which begin moving rapidly and firing towards your your riflemen as they are running across the open fields. You can see many of your men being cut down as they are crossing the open fields, and to your east you hear intense firing at Kaiserslautern and artillery fire to your southeast. Alright, company commander, you can hear the positions of the platoon in your east begin engulf with enemy rifle and machine gun fire. It seems like the enemy has broken through your ranks in the east. Also, you can soon sight the second platoon just running northwards out of the village in absolute chaos. To the west, you sight friendly reinforcements coming your way as they begin taking fire from the south.
Oh.
Alright, as your troops are crossing the open fields to your southeast and are dashing through it, unluckily see halfway through the forest, German tanks show up coming out of the forest near Priekem and open up with their cannons and machine guns on your crossing infantry. You can see that at least one of your companies has been utterly destroyed while crossing the open plains, while rest of your platoons luckily are basically just about to reach the security of the wood line.
God damn.
Alright, Battalion Sphere, do you have any orders?
I wish to move up to second company.
Understood. Anything else?
No, I think all the artillery is out of ammunition and all that stuff, so
right.
No other orders.
Alright, Panzerführer, do you have any orders?
Yes, I do. I have 3 orders. So as far as I can see, I can't read the platoon numbers, so I'll try to give the description as best as I can. So as I see, I have my own tanks and 2 other platoons with me.
Yep.
I want to advance with them in wedge formation, guns blazing to the enemy to the north, about 500 meters to the north. That's my first order.
Yeah.
And then I see 1 platoon is lagging behind.
Yeah.
I want them to take position on the crossroads or T crossing to my west. Or just east of that, not move onto the road, but stay just east of the road at that T crossing. And I would like a report from the tank platoon I left behind.
Understood. Alright, do you have any orders?
Yeah, I will move to the north, to the forest, and seek the position when I will have the ability to shoot those Soviet unions in the north.
Okay, actual Rankin, you take orders from the from Lithuanian and the rest of the Germans. I gotta go to the Soviets.
Okay. Did I have some context?
Unfortunately. Comrade Commissar, do you have any orders?
Yes. Do we have smoke rounds on the mortar?
Yes.
Okay, then smoke off the tanks and gather the infantry, no matter them being pinned or anything. If they want to survive, they will follow me. If they don't, then they're welcome to stay here. And then we'll go towards the town.
Understood.
And if they have hand grenades with smoke, then use that too.
Alright, do you have any orders?
Yes. Are the mortars under fire from artillery?
Yeah, they are.
Okay, then I can rely on them. Take the intact platoon. I will lead it from the front. Take the intact platoon and counterattack the German platoon's attack. Yeah.
Alright. Alright, do you have any orders?
Yeah, just let me quickly finish this dispatch. There you go. Okay, so first of all, those machine guns and mortars I left behind, are they giving cover fire? Because if they're not, then they should be.
They're probably out of range. This is a pretty big crossing, but yeah.
Right. In that case, the mortars at least, they probably couldn't do anything to those tanks, right?
Yeah, and they are now also like a kilometer away from you, and the runner would have to run back.
Alright, well, I did give them permission to open fire at will, so I'm hoping that they're doing something.
Yep.
Is there any way to... Like, you said that one of my platoons was basically destroyed. What does that mean? Are there, like, 2 people left?
No,
or...
there's like a platoon's worth of dead bodies, or then anyone who survived basically run back into the forest. They're basically out of action.
Alright, so the 2 remaining platoons are both to, of course, get into the forest immediately and try to get behind a good number of trees, face eastwards, and then get in cover. Like, just drop to the ground, and I want also a few scouts to go up ahead so I can get a better idea of what is east to me.
Understood. these units with the red X shouldn't actually be able to move. Oh, I kind of realized that, which is nice. I didn't even roll for these units because they're getting attacked by tanks while they are in the open, and this is... Even if they get there, they're gonna be all disorganized, so... Okay. Great God is killed. I treat this as the highest danger level possible because... Yo. By the way, the units with the X can't move like forwards in combat, they can only like retreat.
Yeah, I put them back, I realized.
Yeah. Let's just...
This is an assault, he said he's going to like...
These guys
smash in.
Yeah, these guys are suppressed and everyone else is coming here, so let's just... let's just auto-resolve this, quote-unquote, which is make the Soviets get screwed. So we can end the game here since this was kind of decisive with the German tanks showing up while the... So what was happening? The German, the Soviets were coming with reinforcements here.
Oh no.
And they were crossing here. And then the German tanks, well, drove up where you said. At first I really panicked because I realized that I had resolved the turn, even though there was like the mines here. So the German tank should have not been able to go here, but there's a path here, so they can just go through that.
They already hit and cleared the mines though.
No, they didn't clear the mines because there's more than one mine.
Yeah, but you said that like they have to stay still because they're clearing the road.
Well, we can watch the recording if I said that, but I think I just said that they're like stuck, or they just haven't been given orders.
But it's fine, whatever, it's okay.
Yeah, whatever. Yeah, they just went through that way, and now our great go got this killed in the end, and now there are these 3 dudes here. Okay, so let's go to lobby and move everyone there. I'll move the Soviets. You have the rights to move people, right?
Yes, I do.
Nice. Okay guys, we're gonna end the game here because there's a conclusion. So before we break fog of war, I'm gonna ask each CIC on each team. Let's start with the Germans. KB, how do you think the Germans are doing right now?
I'm really quite unsure, but I know that we have reached our objective. It just remains to see whether we've come out on top in the city fighting. I think we've been very successful, though very slow in taking the pre-Kiev forests, and we have suffered some tank casualties, I know, going through the forest. Hitting a landmine or something, which is unfortunate, and I think First Company is in quite a poor state as well, from what I know. And it could very well be that Second and Third didn't have the power to take the town, but I think they have.
Yeah, it's more of a village than a city, to be fair. Now let's go to the Soviet CIC. So, Comrade Great Goldovich, how do you think you're doing right now?
Well, despite wasting so much German effort and ammunition with a single rifle company in Prekiem on literally nothing. Despite this, I think the fact that their tanks can teleport around and us not having any anti-tank weapons, I think they've won. That's literally it.
Alright. So yeah, I'm gonna once again to stream the game in a sec. Just need to make sure the tanks are represented here. Alright, so going to put a link in general. So the password is kriegsspiel, and I'm gonna also stream the game once I can, because I think actual Rankine, can you stream it? Because I think streaming this to YouTube is already like hard enough on my internet. Thanks. Alright, so it is going to be a German victory. The village of Kaunas-Vilnius has been after I think somewhat extensive bombardment has been there. After okay, well, basically what happened in Kaunas-Vilnius, the village was bombarded by artillery and mortars for some time, while it was also being shot at by the tanks, and the infantry German infantry moved in after the artillery barrage at the stunned defenders and was able to start clearing the village from the east, and that's how now has basically the end of the game taken over the rest of is in the process of taking over the rest of the village, as the Soviet defenders have been basically overwhelmed. In the west, the Soviet units were in the process of crossing the open plains from MU Farmstead to Kaunas-Vilnius when they were met by the German Panzer IVs and Panzer IIs, which moved from here to here pretty fast. So Breakout did say that they teleported. It might seem like that, but the thing is that tanks simply just move so fast than infantry. With like only 20 kilometers an hour you can move like, well, was it 25 kilometers an hour? You can move already like nearly 4 kilometers in 15 minutes. So they were able to come in the right time. And also the Soviet machine gun company, which started a sort of counter-attack maneuver in the west, crossed the open plains, unfortunately, at the same time as the German tanks showed up, which led to the demise of the led to the demise of one Soviet MG platoon. The rest of the MG platoon is a bit exhausted after the dash, but they are still alive, although they are quite alone right now. So in this game, the Soviets in this game I wanted to basically just test infantry against tanks. That was the main thing. So the game area was pretty small, only 3 kilometers width. So the Germans basically had to get stuck in with the Soviets and couldn't just bypass their defenses. The Soviets, meanwhile, they had absolutely inadequate AT equipment. Basically, all of their infantry platoons were described to have inadequate AT equipment, so they would have like anti-tank grenades and maybe a few anti-tank rifles with very limited ammunition. So they would need to basically fight the enemy tanks right when they were right next to them. The Germans, meanwhile, they had a tank platoon, not tank platoon, tank company of Panzer IIs and with one platoon of Panzer IVs, and they were supported by, or tanks were supporting the German 3 infantry companies, which were themselves supported by a battalion of field howitzers. 105 millimeters. In addition, the Soviets had, I think, they had 2 mortar platoons, and the Germans had 1 mortar platoon for each one of their companies, and also 1 machine gun platoon for each one of their companies. So the game started with the, as Rankine has kind of portrayed on the map already with drawn arrows. I will also move the units to their place. So the game started with the Soviet plan was basically to have a sort of skirmish line, a kind of way to delay the enemy in this forest near Priekiem, and they had a dug-in machine gun company in this forest line here with a the second rifle company inside the village of Kaunas-Vilnius defending it. The Germans were sort of like here, as portrayed on the map. They started the game with basically putting a lot of their troops on these rolling hills, overwatching the area, and they were quite careful with their initial movements. The tanks moved very little per turn, but they could have basically moved across the map several times over the course of the game, but they were supporting the leg infantry quite closely then, I guess. The first combat of the battle was when Soviet units, German units crossed over the open fields near Vujanke Bankaušiske, and the Soviet units, which had been overseeing the German maneuvers for some time, finally opened fire. The German 1st Rifle Company was the company that was under fire, and they did quite poorly in the combat, as the Soviets basically were outnumbered by only 1 platoon against them, and the Soviets were in prepared positions, so the German infantry took quite a lot of casualties. The Soviets didn't have any foxholes or anything in this area, but they had time to basically get behind bushes and trees and get good firing sectors, so they had done something to prepare themselves. Meanwhile, the Germans called in artillery over this area. Some of the artillery didn't really hit the Soviet defenders, which were kind of more focused on the west. Meanwhile, the Germans were preparing an assault near Priekiem, so much of the artillery landed a bit east of the Soviets, but some of the artillery, field howitzers did hit quite close to the Soviet positions, and also the German mortars hit the Soviet positions as well. The Germans then finally started their own attack towards Priekiem, supported by tanks. Meanwhile, the Soviet first Rifle Company commander recalled his troops, which had beaten back the Germans as First Company had disengaged, so they were able to retreat their men quite handily, although 1 platoon was pinned down by artillery and was destroyed by, I think it was the second German Rifle Company, which annihilated the last remaining Soviet defender. The Germans then started moving slowly towards Kaunas-Vilnius. One of the German tank platoons ran into the mines in this area. The Soviets had some mines which they could deploy here, here and here, with these being AT and the rest being anti-personnel. So the minefield was able to very much delay the German advance. The Germans then continued moving towards Kaunas-Vilnius, with the tanks well supporting the infantry very closely. The German attack towards Kaunas-Vilnius was quite well executed. It started with the 105mm artillery battery firing on the positions of German side of the Soviets, I think, and there was some. Then all of the tank company also opened up, and their artillery barrage was. I think the infantry also did some reconnaissance by fire, shooting at the Soviet positions, and once the artillery barrage ended, the German 3rd Company moved in, attacking the stand defenders and taking over the eastern portion of the village with relatively low casualties. Eventually starting to clean up the rest of the village. Also the Germans used their mortars pretty well, which were basically constantly firing on the rest of the village, which was hindering a lot of the Soviet defense in the village. Meanwhile, the 1st Rifle Company, which had fallen back to the Machine Gun Company, the 1st Rifle Company had reorganized, and these two comrades started thinking of their next plan of action. It was quite clear that Kaiserslautern was in need of help, so the 1st Rifle Company started moving towards Kaiserslautern over the open fields as quickly as they could, and the 1st Machine Gun Company started crossing over towards the forest near VMK Bankauskiska, likely to conduct a counterattack. Unfortunately, though, this timing was perfect for the German panzers, which had just relocated all of the tank platoons except for the one supporting the attack on Kaiserslautern, as the village was starting to be taken over. So the tank platoons were moved over here to the Soviet to this position here, where as they came over to the open fields, they saw the German Soviet infantry starting to cross over the open, and they caught them basically perfectly and were able to inflict very large casualties on the Soviet forces in the open. Unfortunately, I think from the Empire point of view, the battle was lost before the Soviets started crossing over the open fields anyhow, because the village of Kaiserslautern was starting to be taken over, and I'm not sure if this counterattack would have basically headed straight to combat, and perhaps it would have been quite risky. But I don't know, there was maybe a chance that the Soviets could have, with their counterattack, pushed out the Germans out of the village. But unfortunately, the German tanks showed up at the perfect time. So that's what happened in the battle. So now let's have everyone have their turn to talk and say what they learned about the battle. Oh wait, I need to there was like some talk that some people don't want the end briefing to be just like recollection of what happened in the battle, and they want some more like, I don't know, criticism or something. I can say that the German tanks were pretty slow. If the Soviets had any anti-tank gun at all, they could have likely done very nasty work of the German tanks. And the German regiment commander was also a bit frustrated over the slow advance. And also, if the Soviets had any artillery at all either, they could have basically bombarded the German positions pretty well. But at the same time, I'm not sure if that's fair, because there has not been that many tanks in these games yet, so people are trying to learn to use them, and I'm also trying to learn how to manage them. And also, this was an infantry company supported by tanks, so the infantry isn't really trained to work with tanks either, so maybe it was smart to make the tanks work quite slowly. Next scenario, hopefully there will be some panzer grenadiers on the German side. But yeah, now let's finally move to the other people here. Oh yeah, well, Soviets had I think Soviets did their defense pretty well. They had pretty they didn't do like try to do super elastic defense. Like these guys were in position waiting for the enemy, but unfortunately, like I said, the Soviets are not really made for an elastic defense. So as soon as they started moving out of their positions, they didn't really do it. They weren't able to do it in time due to the Soviet soldiers' tactics, and they ended up dying. But it was a really difficult scenario for the Soviets. But yeah, okay. Rankan, what did you think of the battle? You umpired the Germans here.
I umpired the German side, and I have to say I really enjoyed this game because both sides felt two very good plans were happening at the same time. It was quite interesting to see both the Soviets and Germans doing their thing, so to speak. With the Soviets' very good initial delaying action, and then the criticism of tanks going slowly is fair, I guess, but the tanks very well supported the infantry, and they all turned out well in the end. Anyway, didn't it? And generally speaking, the Germans were very coordinated with their troops, which is pretty important and pretty big. I can't speak for the Soviet side in this regard, but the Soviets' good defense of the forest around Bankauchishke, I thought that seemed well managed from my perspective, and the whole retreat to the forest further north. And it just didn't seem they could have held Kashyadoris with such a good German plan. I think, even though they did well, I don't think that could have been handled without anything else. But it was very fun to umpire, to see both sides do quite well. And yeah, that's what I have to say, really.
All right. Thank you, Rankai. And now KB with the German CIC.
Yeah, I don't know what to say. I think the tanks moving around the western side was something I was thinking about, but I didn't order it. So the tanks taking the initiative to do that.
Oh. Oh man, my headset just ran out of battery, and Discord is being restarted. I'm gonna ask KB to say his thing again. I need to check that I'm okay. I think at least but unfortunately, okay, alright. Good thing OBS didn't screw up my sound settings or anything. I'll just ask KB to describe what he thought of the battle again. Sorry, my headset just ran out of battery. KB, would you be interested in saying again what you were saying, because this is being streamed to YouTube as well?
Yeah, so the reason I didn't run the tanks forward or didn't utilize their speed as much as I probably could have is that I was in fear of lighter Soviet anti-tank weaponry. I didn't want them to be running through all this quite forested and area with houses everywhere where they could potentially be attacked by an infantry force with anti-tank weapons without having any infantry cover or any infantry to spot the enemy for them. I know that tanks are quite blind without an infantry, and the movement around the western side of the town was not something ordered by me, but I applaud it. It was a very good initiative taken by the tanks. The reason I didn't order it initially was in fear of any kind of anti-tank cannon of some kind up by the town of MU or in the tree line in general. I think if I had more motorized infantry or any smaller kind of infantry fighting vehicles, then I would probably have advanced quicker, but who's to say? I find the terrain here to be quite hostile to deep penetration, as there's so much forest and like small houses everywhere.
Yeah, I think that was one. Yeah, I don't like that criticizing. I'm not gonna do that. Somebody else can do that. This criticize player thing. This is not a military academy, and I think that was pretty smart. especially since you didn't outnumber the enemy like 3-1 or 2-1 as well, so it was probably smart to not go right against the enemy at full speed. Is there someone who also, KB, could you actually stream the game or someone else share your screen, because Renka needed to go. Does anyone need to go fast? Because if you need to go soon, then you can talk next. If not, we'll just continue in order. So let's go to E, who was the Soviet commander in Kaiserslautern. What did you think of the battle?
I think it was pretty good. I sort of didn't like how the Germans were so slow moving through the open towards Kaiserslautern, but I understand that, fear of anti-tank and whatever. So that kind of allowed me to use my mortars to try to strike them down. But in the end, I don't think that mattered much, because my positions just got blasted by artillery, which is understandable. You want to neutralize everything in a town before you attack it. Overall, I think it was just really good. I enjoyed the scenario.
Oh, glad to hear. And let's go to who was actually fighting in the town. Renegade, you go next. What did you think of the battle? If you got a mic, your mic is muted, Renegade. Okay, he is not able to talk. Let's go to the Time Lord then, who was in the center, a second company. What did you think of the battle?
Yeah, I think I definitely could have advanced faster. I was definitely more cautious than I maybe should have been, but I was also like, I feel like I was limiting my advances almost more to like what I like, only advancing like one step forward in terms of what I could see, and not trying to press that more. I don't know, maybe that was right, maybe that was wrong, but definitely felt like to some extent like my movement, I limited my movement more by like what I could see and like what I knew, more than like actually how much my troops could physically move. That's my only note, really.
Alright, thank you. What about you, Muffin? Oh, Renegade, you're back.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. You were leading 3rd Company and fought over the village of Kaiserslautern. What did you think of the battle?
To be honest, it was really great fighting with these experienced players. Like, this is my first fort battle, I believe, and for this battle to turn out like this, it was great. Yeah. So in the town battle, I was kind of skeptical if whether or not it will be like a successful attack. But I just trust my gut and asked for my commander to lay down some artillery fire. Then I just rushed in. So yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty well done. Okay, let's go to Muffin then, who led the German tank company.
Yeah, first of all, I want to say that obviously all the credit goes to my commander, who came up with a great plan. And while obviously you want to use the mobility of the tanks, I was very fine with staying in close support with my infantry, because the last time I played and there were tanks, they went on a large flanking maneuver, really using their mobility, and left the infantry so without support. So I was very fine with trying the exact opposite, and in this case it worked out. At one point I lost a tank to some mines between the woods, at which point I guess the tank commander's radio failed, so I thought the whole platoon was lost, but other from that it was all very successful, and I think I was able to support the infantry as best as I could without outrunning them. I wanted to cross over to the other side of the woods earlier, but due to me losing or to me thinking I lost the whole platoon there, I was a little bit cautious to wait for the infantry, as I thought there might be some more Soviets who had something to do with the destruction. So I waited until the whole woods were cleared, until I crossed over to the other side, which apparently coincided very well with destroying the Soviet reinforcements. But other than that, I think overall it was all very well coordinated. Radio was used, so that even though I couldn't really see any enemies, it seems like the tanks were able to support the infantry still by them pointing them out. That's basically all.
Alright, thank you. And then hydroxide lithium, you led the German first company, which got a bit bloodied in the beginning.
I think if you all talked about German's units being very slow, mine was the most. Most of the time I just was on the tail of Sam and his infantry unit, taking position he already captured before. But I lost quite some time in the forest when I was pushed from that town with a long name, just in the very beginning. Yes,
Alright, then we got the Soviet first machine gun company, so Sheephead.
Yeah, so I feel like our plan on the Soviet side was very good. I think it also could have worked if we had any of anything. We didn't have artillery or anti-tank weapons. I tried repeatedly to order my men to build improvised anti-tank weapons, but there just wasn't anything there. So I feel like we did our duty to the motherland. I'm a little bit salty about the absolutely atrocious timing on my dash across the open ground, because it just so happened to be that as my troops were running across and should have gotten across fine, of course, with my luck, that's exactly when the tanks arrived, the German tanks. So I'm a little bit salty about that, but I also feel like the Germans had a good plan. I definitely didn't know where the attack was going to come from. I don't know if my commander did. Yeah, so I think everyone did pretty well in this battle.
Alright, thank you. Yeah, that was everyone. Everyone had their turn to talk, so thanks for everyone for playing. This was... the purpose of this game was supposed to test infantry versus tanks, but unfortunately there wasn't really much fighting between the infantry and the tanks, but at least the mines got used a bit, so yeah, maybe next scenario the Germans will have some panzer grenadiers and the Soviets will have anti-tank guns. Does anyone have any feedback or any other comments?
I just feel like the one thing I just kind of been thinking about is, like, as you pointed out, with 15-minute turns, the tank can basically literally go from one end of the map to the other. So maybe it's just a little bit rough. Doing tanks and 15-minute turns might just kind of be rough, you know. In general.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit tricky. Like this.
I think.
Go ahead.
Maybe there'd be some way of altering the scenario to say that for some reason, because I do agree that the movement speed of the tanks makes everything else very difficult. So I don't know if there's some scenario way of slowing down the tanks or because it would be a shame to confine tanks to to operational games, but it does just seem like they're a little they're too fast to be super fair in tactical games, though obviously I'm no expert on that. But I did think that the umpiring was very good, and yeah, I thought it was a good game.
Good to hear. Yeah, I took a long time to add tanks overall into the system because I wanted to first kind of get the artillery and infantry combat to be realistic, and tanks are most soldiers at war are infantrymen or artillerymen, not tank crewmen. But yeah, the thing with I think in real life, tanks are a really like a breakthrough weapon, and especially tank versus tank combat and anti-tank gun versus tank combat. It usually is over like in under 15 minutes, and the side who shoots first wins. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that tanks in real life are just that fast, or they can really just destroy everything pretty fast. So it's kind of like cavalry in Napoleonic times, except there isn't except in Napoleonic times you don't have you don't exactly have you have artillery, but it's not as accurate as an anti-tank gun. So there isn't as much of a chance that an anti-tank gun can take out several of your tank platoons really quickly. So yeah, I think it really comes down to the scenario, like you said about scenario design. I think I'll include tanks in a battle where it's a prepared defensive line being attacked by a combined armed force, but the defensive line is actually prepared, so they have more of a chance. But tanks are they're kind of difficult to portray. They really can, at least not all tanks. These are Panzer II, so they can go pretty fast in like 30. I think I calculated it's nearly 4 kilometers if they like go off road, and that's not even like their full speed or something. But it's I guess I just need to think of this. In what scenario is it kind of fun actually to use tanks, and where is it just that the tanks bypass the infantry?
I think tanks really make the scenarios very interesting because they're so fast and so deadly. If there were I think the only thing that needs to be improved is that there's some way of countering them, because when you don't have any anti-tank weapons or tanks of your own or artillery or anything, or even just some kind of infantry mobility vehicles, you're just kind of stuck being the slow, squishy, walking around a battlefield with very fast, very heavily armored, at least compared to human beings, vehicles. So actually, I think a scenario with tanks could be very fun. It just needs to maybe include some way of countering them, or at least keeping up with them.
I think also that speaking of altering this scenario of this type with a lot of unprepared infantry and tanks, it could also slightly balance to place them in more rough terrain with more forests. Maybe the infantry can feel more comfortable, maybe. The mountains and the rivers, which you should find a place to cross first to use the tanks.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong. The purpose of this scenario was to be very hard for the infantry. Was to test if infantry just doesn't have anything to counter the tanks, except like AT grenades.
I'm not sure if did the Soviets know there were tanks on the field, or did they just find that out during the scenario?
They got told before the scenario that they have there are tanks in the area of enemy vehicles, and they heard them and saw them pretty early. So.
All right. Right, okay. So yeah, what I wanted to say, I think it's really a good thing from a systems perspective that the tanks are pretty fast and pretty lethal, because I think I've heard reports that it feels to like a normal soldier in World War II that tanks basically can teleport. So maybe that's a good thing. I just think that, yeah, as already was said, the scenario needs to work for it to be fun for everybody. And also, I think here it was also very unlucky timing that they were so devastating. I think if the infantry gets into the town and just holds it, it's very hard for tanks to fight in such close places.
That is an interesting point, because that is actually worth talking about, because I think one of the big reasons the tanks just absolutely wiped us in this game is because we had the bad luck of, I think, both my company and I think one other one were both caught out in the open at just the wrong time, because we had prepared all of these ideas of, you know, if the tanks arrive, retreat further into the woods and all this, and tried to prepare anti-tank weapons, but it didn't wind up being very relevant because we just got caught by excruciatingly bad timing.
I need to go end the stream, so I'll join you guys in just a sec. Okay, guys, I need so the stream doesn't end up being 4 hours. I'm gonna end it now. So the battle ended finally as a Soviet defeat, but at least the Soviets were able to fight quite valiantly what they had. They definitely they bloodied the noses of some German infantry platoons, and they were able to delay the German advance. But unfortunately, though, they still lost many soldiers in the end. But it wasn't an easy scenario for the Soviets, but it also necessarily wasn't an easy scenario for the Germans, who through the methodical planning and well-coordinated attacks were able to eventually take over the village of Kaiserdoros and the railway line and annihilate the Soviet forces. So I'm gonna end the stream here. If anyone ever wants to play Kriegsspiel yourself, just feel free to join the International Kriegsspiel Society. You can join it by joining our Discord. So I hope to see you in one of our future games. And yeah, see you later. Bye. So I hope to see you in one of our future games. And yeah, see you later.